Appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Thank you for asking us to do this. And I'd like to begin by congratulating you on getting this far. You're 100 days from being Augusta Prep graduates, and that's no small feat. So well done. We're Amy and Douglas Nesbit. Today I want to tell you who we are, what prep was like 30 years ago, and how prep prepared us for the real world, and by the power of transitivity, how prep has prepared you for the real world. Douglas and I started dating 32 years ago. We've been married 22 years. We have 3 children. Allison graduated last year. Can you hear me?
Jamie, do you mind turning on the microphone?
It's fine. Okay.
I'm not a
Speakers in here are working.
out loud. Sorry.
I'll try to yell. Okay, so we've been married 22 years, and we have 3 children. Allison graduated last year, Daniel, who will graduate next year, and Elizabeth, who will be a freshman next year. Douglas is a pediatrician, and I was a pediatric occupational therapist, and I did long-term pediatric rehab until Daniel was born, and now I'm just a mom. We grew up in Augusta at the Church of the Good Shepherd, and we went to Episcopal Day School until 7th grade. We came to Augusta Preparatory School in 1982 and 1984. Prep was a small 7th through 12th grade school, and it didn't merge with Country Day until 1989, which was the year I graduated. Douglas and I played soccer, basketball, volleyball, and tennis at Prep. We worked on the yearbook. We started the Honor Council, which is now the Honor Education Council. I wrote for the newspaper, the Pen and Sword. We read the underground newspaper, the Crayon and Switchblade, and we served on the student council. We knew everyone in the school, and most importantly, our teachers and coaches knew us very well. In February of 1986, Douglas asked me out on our first date to the Valentine's dance. It was the Miss APS dance. It was held in a small auditorium, which we no longer have, and it was chaperoned by our student council rep, our biology teacher, Ms. Owen. This dance would have been the same week. This dance would have been held the same week that we had Carnation Day. Ms. Owen's classroom would have buckets of carnations, and the student council representatives would deliver flowers and notes throughout the day to students. It was wonderful to get a carnation during history, to interrupt our passionate history teacher, who was also our soccer coach and our basketball coach. Mr. Boyd would be screaming about a historic battle or committing seppuku. We were furiously writing down all the points for IDs, and the carnation interruption would give us a moment to catch up. I loved my 5 years at Prep. I had amazing friendships with peers and teachers and coaches. I had opportunities at Prep that I would not have had at other places, and my years here were very happy ones. But Prep had a reputation for being tough when we were here. Prep demanded a lot from its students. We wrote a ton of essays and research papers. We dissected frogs with Miss Owen. We memorized the Prep cycle. We learned calculus. We took 1 year of required Latin. We studied the world with Mr. Boyd. And then after a full day of hard classes, we went to the athletic field or court. Patiently, Mr. Boyd would teach us our basketball plays from Chapel Hill. Full court type, man-to-man is 24. Half court is 12. A 2-3 zone is 41, and so on. And we would run it again and again. I would get home late and start my homework. It was hard. We were not in plays, Douglas and I, but there were plays happening at Prep. We had this small auditorium. That's where we had study hall. Our friends were in A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum, Arsenic and Old Lace, You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown, South Pacific. The plays were amazing because the actors on the stage were my friends, the people I passed notes to in study hall and had lockers next to mine. And we enjoyed great freedoms at Prep. Unlike other schools, we had study hall, we had privileges, and we could roam around campus, hang out in the senior lounge, and we could leave campus if we had privileges. Our teachers and coaches pushed us and expected a lot from us, and we worked hard. I'm guessing that a lot of that sounds familiar to you. In many ways, Prep hasn't changed too much. But you have a library, you have a cafeteria, you have art and music class. There's a whole new wing of classrooms and halls, a second gym, and this beautiful building that we're in. There are a lot more teachers and students and class offerings. Watching Allison and Daniel navigate high school, we know that Prep remains tough, demands even more from their students. But let me assure you that you have learned skills in this school that you don't even know you learned. You can do things that you don't know you can do. A Prep graduate can read and has read. You know how to read critically, to take information and form it into an ID. You can discern from material what is important and what is not. You understand what an author is trying to teach. And you have read much of the literary canon. You've read the great works, and you've learned from all that reading. A Prep graduate can write. You know how to write. You can knock out a 5-paragraph essay with a thesis statement and 3 specific supporting examples for that thesis. You can churn out a research paper with correct pronoun reference, without dangling participles or sentence fragments. A Prep graduate can speak. You've given a speech to an auditorium full of your peers. Sounds terrifying to me. You can write that speech, you can deliver it. I hate giving speeches. And you did that, and we didn't do that when I was here, so I think that you're all amazing. A Prep graduate can manage his or her time. You can juggle a huge workload along with extracurricular activities. You can prioritize your time. And you know that a test is more important than a quiz, and you spend more time on a research paper than a short answer paragraph. You know how to get your work done with time for fun, sports, and arts. A Prep graduate knows how to study. You've worked hard enough that you know how to learn and how you learn, and you can use those techniques to digest new information. You can create an ID from your notes and from a textbook. You know how to memorize a lot of information. You know how to dig deeper and synthesize that information into meaningful conclusions. A Prep graduate has worked under the honor code. You do not lie, cheat, or steal, or tolerate those who do. You respect the property and intellectual property of others, and you've learned right from wrong. You're able to work together, to be kind to others, and to respect others. And now you must finish the race. Continue to work hard these last 100 days. Take time to thank your teachers and your coaches, your parents, and especially your friends. These people sitting next to you are important. My best friend from high school, Jennifer Tucker, is still my best friend and godmother to my children. My high school boyfriend is my husband. The people of this place will always be an important part of who you are. And my prayer for you is that you'll be in a great school next year, becoming the men and women that you're meant to be. And please don't forget Prep. Come back and visit. Tell your teachers how you're doing. Augusta Prep has prepared you for the next step. So don't forget to go back to Prep. Remember what you've learned here. Be thankful for the places, this place where you grew up, to be the class of 2018. Congratulations.
All right, hello, I'm Douglas. I met my best friend at Prep 2, and I'm married to her. I really love my life. I love my wife. I love my kids. I love my job. I think I've got the greatest job in the world. Okay. I get to watch kids grow up. So I see babies all the way through teens. And I've been doing this now for 17 years. So I've a few kids who bring me their own babies. Probably not the best, but it is still fun. I get to see people at their best. Okay, so I get to see parents looking after their kids, trying to make sure they're well, trying to make sure they're growing well, trying to make sure they're eating, trying to make sure they're doing well in school, trying to make sure they're behaving. But everybody's on the same team, so I enjoy my job. A recent TED Talk I listened to talked about what makes you happy in your job. And the sort of three things that came down were autonomy, having some control over your schedule, your day-to-day stuff and what you do. Purpose, so feeling like you're part of something bigger, you're doing some good in the world. And mastery, feeling like you're good at your job, you know what you're doing, you're not just flailing. I have a solo pediatric practice, so periodically I want to fire the boss, but it's me. And I'm sure other people can do a better job running the business part, but I have pretty much say about what I do, and I'm pretty happy. I love my life. It's more than I deserve. Augusta Prep prepared me for college. Augusta Prep prepared me for med school, prepared me for my job now. I went to Wake Forest. I was well prepared there. But what I saw and what y'all will see is that, yeah, everybody at college is pretty smart. Everybody's done lots of stuff. Everybody has impressive extracurriculars. And they know how to work too. But so do y'all. Y'all can hang with anybody. Okay? Augusta Prep is an excellent school. I did fine there. Prep taught me how to work hard, how to take notes, how to cram when I needed to, how to stay up late if I needed to, how to prioritize sleep, how to study ahead. I was far from the perfect student, but I learned what worked for me. The section of the MCAT, the test you take to get into med school, that I did best on was chemistry. I didn't take chemistry in college. Okay, that was chemistry that I learned from Miss Otwell in 1987. My point is, the stuff you're learning now, you actually really do know, and it'll carry with you. And I would be remiss if I didn't put in my 2 cents for y'all as a pediatrician, so I apologize. Okay? I spend much of my time talking to teenagers, trying to assess for health risk behaviors. And I'm going to kind of hit you with some of that today. We talk about, with my teen patients, we talk about body image problems. Okay? So guys seem to all want to get bigger and gain weight, particularly if they're on a football team. We don't talk about supplements right now, I'm not a fan. We worry about girls trying to lose weight. We talk about home problems, school problems, doing well, getting along with people. We worry about tobacco use, alcohol use. Juuling is really bad for you. Binge drinking and smoking weed really are bad for your brain at this age. Probably at any age. Yesterday I got to treat someone for chlamydia and gonorrhea. Okay. We We talk about gang membership, which is not a big problem here at Augusta Prep. It is at some of the other schools in Augusta. We look for depression, anxiety, suicidality, all the things you really want to talk about as you're getting ready to graduate. But some kids do want to talk about it, and some kids really need to. Many of y'all think you're invulnerable. You're not. This is a fairly dangerous time of your life as a senior. You're distracted, you're tired, you're excited, you're ready to go to new places. I'm a terrible driver. So as a junior going to my junior prom, I ran through a red light on 9th Street and smashed into a baby blue Ford Pinto hatchback. I was driving my older brother's white 1965 Ford Falcon station wagon. And I was not drinking. I was probably just distracted by the pretty girl sitting next to me in a strapless blue prom dress that matched my bow tie and pump.
It was Amy, right? It was Amy? Okay, good. Just checking.
That wasn't.
Just checking. Okay, good.
So be careful. Be careful. Don't text and drive. We didn't have that. We didn't have cell phones. Don't drink and drive. Don't do other stuff when you're intoxicated. Please don't intentionally hurt yourself. Take care of your friends. Take care of yourselves. The ends of things are hard. So the end of high school is hard. In some ways, y'all are totally ready to leave. In some ways, it's really scary to leave a place where you're well known, where you're comfortable, where everybody loves you, where everybody knows you. Try to deal with your emotions honestly. Enjoy them. Okay? Revel in them. You all know how to write. You all know how to talk. Write a blog. Pen a song. Throw a pot. Paint something. If you feel too sad or mad or anxious, let somebody know. There are people here to help you. You should enjoy this time of life. It's good to feel things. Be smart about it. Don't hide from your feelings. Don't bury them. Y'all have a lot left to do. Each of you can achieve almost anything if you put your mind to it and work at it. You go to a preparatory school, the main goal of which is to prepare you for college. But that's just the next step. Y'all will also have to be lifelong learners. The world's changing. Any field that you go into is changing. And there's lots of work to be done. This school, this Augusta Prep, is better than the prep that I went to. But it's not perfect. In some ways, this world that y'all are graduating into is a better world than what I graduated into. It's definitely not perfect. In some ways, it's worse. There's some big problems that we, the adults, have just sort of kicked down the road. We haven't found the will to deal with them. We just keep asking for extensions. Y'all will have to manage dealing every day with technology that was science fiction when I was your age. You'll enter the workforce where I think there actually will be plenty of jobs. But in a country with a political system that is not functioning well at all, where the politicians are more divided than the electorate, and where somebody needs to convince us that we are in fact united. Also, at some point, y'all, I guess, we, everyone, has to deal with paying off the debt. Y'all have spent, this was hard for me to imagine, y'all have spent almost your entire lives living through the war on terror. That will continue. And then there's lots of other opportunities for interesting things to happen in the geopolitical world. Y'all will have to save the planet from climate change, migration issues, economic, military, social. technological conflicts. You'll have to deal with the fallout of tremendous wealth inequalities and major changes in the religious landscape. Your parents, teachers, and friends have put a lot into your education. They care deeply about you. You are prepared. Finish your senior year strong, and then tackle the challenges that lie ahead. Strive for mastery in whatever you do. Defend your autonomy. And seek purpose. We, the prep community, are proud of you. We love you. And we're counting on you. Thanks. Thanks for letting me talk.